Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Monday afternoon trading party. So let me grab the screen. Wow, it does really work. Hey, is the music too loud? Is it drowning out my voice? Actually, I've done this a long time ago. Putting music while we are speaking. No music? Seriously, no music? Why? I thought I shared music. Shared sound, music. Probably it doesn't work. I can hear music on my end. That's the odd thing. All right, that means my experiment failed. I shall try tomorrow again. Or is it because I have to share a different thing? All right, doesn't matter. Now, Lexis is probably going to join us later. She has a personal meeting. Uh, now, I don't know whether am I going to last that long. Yeah, Jeff said he's coming in. When Jeff comes in, I'm going to tell you all straight away. It's going to be one of the most boring show ever. Why? Not because of Jeff is coming in, or well, because Jeff is coming in. Because then you have two technicians talking about. Now, uh, I don't know how many times you have encountered, but if you have two like pure technician fellas talking about trade, and it's gonna be really, it's gonna be interesting to the technicians themselves, but it may be really boring to the listeners. Yeah, because if you can't catch up, then you have absolutely no idea what we are droning on about at the top. Yeah, so it's gonna be really funny later. Either it's, either it's gonna be two guys talking over lines on the chat in the chat, or I don't know, man. So yeah, anyway, I don't know whether definitely Jeff is coming or not. Yeah, but if any of you is gonna ask me about Jackson, so don't bother because I don't read the news really. Yeah, so I don't know whether it's a negative vibe or a positive vibe. Yeah, I seriously don't know. Yeah, that okay. So let me go through with you what some of the trades I'm looking out for today. As always, Monday I will always be looking out for trades. Now the first one that I was happy this morning because I wasn't actually supposed to jump into this trade. I was supposed to be slipping. Yeah. So rarely have I traded at first candle of the week. Very rarely. But because of my neighbor's dog is barking non-stop since 8, so actually about 6:30 a.m. So I have no choice to wake up and go to gym and look at the computer. Yeah. So I actually jumped into this trade, but not at a full percent. Yeah, it's because I'm still kind of worried. At the back of my head, I'm still kind of worried. The implication of Jackson. So actually I still jumped to this trade, but I only half a percent. And this trading setup was actually shared during the yesterday. Yeah. So the Sunday show, I was saying that pound Kiwi, there's a opportunity to actually raise trade. Yeah, so this was the range I was talking about. Yeah, so it did set up, it did bounce off the level that I was waiting for it to bounce off. So that's essentially my basis for this trade. I jump into it. So let's see whether it's kind of too late to actually jump into now. Yeah. So, but just wanted to update you all. So we'll see what happens uh, the following days. Yeah. I suspect if the momentum is good, I will hit my 3:1. I actually jump into this trade in my another account, not this account. Yeah. So if it did hit my take profit, then it will be a really fantastic start for me for this week. Yeah. Now the next trade that is possibly stepping up, they're possibly stepping up at 5 p.m. is actually the euro dollar. Again, this is a similar trading setup that I shared during yesterday's Sunday analysis. So during the analysis, I was saying that euro is possibly going to be strong. USD is possibly going to be weak. Yeah, because both of them is really within a range. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can refer to yesterday's show clips at YouTube. Yeah. So and it just so happened that for euro dollar, two of my strategies which I've been trading with you, it actually sets up on both sides. Yeah, one is the currency index. Now it is setting up as it is as we are speaking. So you can see the price broke and retest. Yeah, so I'm waiting for this retest so that I can jump in. And at the same breath, So on a weekly chart, this is what happened. You can see that we have an engulfing bar. Really happy with this engulfing bar because the body that engulfs, there's empty space beside. So this is the core concept of my price action trading. Happy to jump into it. So I'm still trading the break of last week closing, which is on the H4, this black line that I have on my screen. Yeah. So it just so happened that both of the strategies, price action strategies that I'm trading, it's not common, but it does happen that it sets out on both sides. Yeah, but doesn't mean that I'm going to jump in at 2%. I'm still going to trade at 1%. Now, but what this means is that I'm will possibly allow myself to be greedier. Yeah, so I'm if this does really set up, I won't be aiming 3:1. Yeah, so that's I will actually be aiming more than 3:1, 5 or 6:1. Usually when I'll aim for those high risk to reward trades only for a reversal. Yeah, but if both of the strategies does set up, and I think there's a good chance that price will apply, then I might as well go for a higher risk to reward, possibly at this zone. On the H4 side, what this means is that yeah, should be easily a 6:1 trade that I hope this trade will fly into. Yeah. So keep looking out for Euro USD, a break and retest of last week high, last week closing. Yeah. So it is definitely setting up now, but we only know for sure at 3 p.m. 5 p.m. in 2 hours time. All right. So that's good news for Euro USD. Pound TV is this trade is gone. Nothing much to talk about. Now Euro Yen on a weekly chart, you can see that also similar to Euro USD, but in fact this engulfing bar was even nicer. Yeah. So I'm just waiting for a now, but do note that on the weekly chart, this is actually on a downtrend. Does it have any significant bearing on the way I trade? Not really, but for some of you, it might have. So I'm just pointing it out. So again, I'm waiting for a break and retest, and then I'll be happily jumping in to trade to the high side. Yeah, so this is only starting out on one side of my strategy, so I will still be obedient to my strategy. I'll aim for 3:1, hit and go. Now, silver is kind of a bit of a waste for me, actually. So what happened last week? If you recall, I actually traded silver. I jumped in at this bar. I jumped in at this bar. I actually scaled in. Now, the scale in trade didn't work out, and it took me out. Yeah. So if I have just remained true to this trade, I would have gotten a pretty good risk to at least a 2:1 at the moment. But since I got spooked out, then this trade is gone. Yeah. But the reason I'm pointing out is not because I'm having regret. The reason I'm pointing out is because this week it just so happened that it is still setting up for me. So on the weekly chart, what we have here is that again, an engulfing bar and there's space to the left. Yeah, so this is the primary reason why I'm still jumping into silver if it sets up. So in lieu of that, on the H4 side, I'm still waiting for a break and retest of last week's closing. Yeah. If it does that, I'll be jumping happily. If it does not, then so be it. Yeah. By the way, this is actually a valid setup for me personally. But obviously it wasn't triggered in. Now USD SGD, you can see on the weekly chart, very nice double top here, formed engulfing bar, and in fact this engulfing bar has closed below a very significant low. So in lieu of that USD SGD, what I'm looking to trade. Now there will be two scenarios. So one is if price actually retrace a bit more further. Oh, actually it is at this zone. Yeah. So since it's already at this zone, then I will consider to actually put in a 0.5% trade to trade this high test bar now. And on top of that, if 0.5% scaling is true and price does this, then I'll also put in 0.5% at this area. Yeah, so that's a trading plan for my USD SGD, which at this moment is actually setting up for the very first trading. Yeah, so if it has a high test bar of this significant low, which is about 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks back, I'll be happy jumping in. Yeah. The reason why I don't actually trade 1% at this is because I'm actually trading straight into last week closing. Yeah, which to me, I interpret last week closing price is always a good horizontal level. Yeah, so which is really near. So in lieu of that, I don't really want to put in at 1%, just put in 0.5%. If price performs a break and retest at my actual trading place, then another 0.5% will be warranted. Yeah, so that's the trading plan for USD SGD. If you're not clear, then feel free to ask me so that I'll actually elaborate one more time. Let me see. Now, crypto, I'm just going to do I'm not in any of the crypto trades at the moment. The earlier move, I've actually gotten a pretty good profit out of it. Yeah, but just to wish to point something out to you. So for, at least for my broker, the one that I use is Stone, double bottom, trend line. So that's on the daily chart. Yeah, so if you go down to H4, you can see a very nice break of the trend line, initial trend line break. Personally, I did trade that. So this was the actual trades which I put. So it has quite a pretty wide stop loss. Yeah, because it's crypto. It's not something that I'm familiar with. Yeah. But at the same time, for anybody who trades crypto, they will know that if price goes, usually it rallies quite well, which in this case is true. Yeah. So for such a strong trend, there's another method which I actually employed occasionally. Yeah. Especially for those of you who have actually used to join the, what you call it, the indicator course which I conducted. Another indicator that you all can use to actually plot trend line, objective method is actually the, what you call it, parabolic stop and reverse indicator. So you can use that. Yeah. Otherwise, if you are confident about trend line, you can just draw it as the way you wish. Yeah. Within a strong trending movement, just link the high, and when price breaks, which you can see it actually functions quite well. Okay, this is only in a very strong trending environment for certain assets. Yeah. What are those assets which I'm talking about? S&P can be counted one of them. Commodities definitely when they are in the season. Yeah, so usually within their seasonal patterns for commodities, they trend very, very strongly. When you expect a pullback, usually the pullback don't really come that often. Yeah. Then a breakout trading style will be warranted. Yeah. So on the daily time frame or even a weekly time frame, you can just draw a simple trend line. Just trade the break itself. So usually the first break, I would advise you to have a wider stop loss. Yeah, because you are essentially trading a reversal. Yeah, so wider stop loss will be warranted. Then the subsequent one, you can have a tighter stop loss, especially if the price action proves to be really, really strong, which represents a strong state of buyers or sellers. Yeah, like a decisive bar, or some of you know it as a Marubozu. I just call it a decisive bar. I can just feel free to jump in for the right. For this, you can see that a strong break, a break and retest in a strong trending environment doesn't happen that often anyway. Yeah, so just trade any of the price action that you're confident with, jump in, going for the right. Now, actually, that's not the reason why I point out crypto chart. I don't have a trade going on right now. Yeah, so if you look at it, daily time frame. So let's have a study of the chart. When price broke, you can see that the sellers are actually almost non-existent. That it goes for the better part of mid-July to August, all the way in, you can see that sellers are not in control. But over here, 3 sellers bar, sellers, sellers, and sellers. So now, I'm not very well versed in the crypto world. Yeah. So technically speaking, what I actually interpret from this chart is that possibly the momentum is losing its steam. The buying momentum is losing its steam. Like from the start, you can see that the sellers are not much, but more and more sellers are coming in to try and gain control of the market. Yeah, so just for any of you who trade crypto, be aware of it. Now, if I remove the shade, okay, that means if I don't see this as a trending chart anymore, possibly this is what I'm looking at. Yeah. So in order to treat it as a trending chart, I need to see price do this. So the moment it breaks out, then over here it will warrant need to put in another trade for the crypto. By the way, this is a crypto 10, so it's actually a crypto index. Yeah. So when price does this, then I'll be confident to jump into the crypto 10 trade. Yeah. The problem is that this is a consolidation as it is, so I'm not that really confident. So price may actually do this. So this will be a trading setup, or price will do this. Then a short of a crypto trade, crypto 10 might be warrant. Yeah, we can warrant such a trading setup. Yeah. Again, I have to emphasize this is coming purely from a technical point of view. Yeah, that's the most I can share with you and what I've observed. Now, is it worth shorting crypto? I think it's worth it because when it falls, it does fall quite a fair bit. Yeah. So all in all, if you look at crypto, it's a long-term uptrend. Definitely, that part definitely is true. And not that it's drastically long-term. When this was introduced, it's only on from 2019. You can see that it first up. So if I'm going to short this trade, potentially I will be taking a huge risk. So what I need to do is that to counterbalance that huge risk, if I'm jumping into a shorting of a crypto trading setup, there's two ways for me to negate that. One is that if the setup is somewhere here, then naturally my stop loss possibly has to be up here. This will possibly be my stop loss area. Yeah, because crypto is that volatile as we know it. Otherwise, if I'm up for more risk, then I'm simply going to jump in and aim for a possibly 10:1 kind of risk to reward trade. That will actually justify shorting crypto for me, shorting a volatile asset. That will be my trading plan. So for example, oops, what did I do? Okay, so for example, if I go to jump into any of the candles here, then yes, if I'm not going to shift my stop loss way up above because I'm taking a larger risk, I will possibly, personally for myself, I'll aim for a 10:1, trying to aim for this kind of level. Maybe not 10:1 at this level, possibly an 8:1 kind of trick. Yeah, because as just now what I've shown you, when the crypto falls, it does fall hard and fast. Yeah, so and if you're in just at the perfect timing at the right time, might as well going for a longer ride rather than aiming for a 3:1. Yeah, you can actually get more out of it. And the last chart, which I'm going to share, if you have no questions, then this will possibly be the end of my presentation. I got nothing else for you, which is natural gas. So I think for 2 weeks back, I've been sharing to you that if natural gas give me an opportunity to go long, I will go long at every step. Yeah, which is what I've been doing. So now I don't know if this has any connection in Jackson Hole. I seriously don't. But on my other account, I already have 2 trades filled in. So I've actually gotten a stop loss once over here. That was 2 weeks back. Stuck it up, and then price proved to me that possibly it's time to rally again. I jump in. Now, to me personally, there's a opportunity to actually scale in. So if price actually retrace to here, to this level over here, I'm gonna keep my trades. But if it actually have a pretty good break and retest, which it broke already. Now, what I'm talking about retest at this zone, then yes, I'll be happy to scale in or at the trend line over here. Yeah, which possibly might actually freak me out a bit if it comes back to this trend line. This is pretty deep. But nevertheless, I'm still hold a mid to long term view that for the next 2-3 months, natural gas is still going to rally. Yeah, so I'm not in a hurry to actually be jumping into such trading setup. Yeah, so just pointing out to you guys, especially if you do trade stocks, keep a lookout for natural gas or even natural gas related company, which is more of a regional product than an international product. But since everybody is going green, then natural gas is actually one of the not a greenest product out there, but a greener product compared to coal and oil. Yeah, so there's something to consider. Now, a retracement needs to happen. Why? Because if you are jumping to any setup that's currently in this area, you cannot just ignore the significant high that's been imprinted back in October 2018. Yeah, so it'll be really stupid to actually trade at where price is right now. Yeah. So either wait for retracement or be really patient about it. Wait for price to completely break out and a retest of this zone, that means a higher low, then jump in. Yeah. As it is, price at this area now is a really, really dangerous zone to jump into it. Yeah, so for those of you who didn't jump to any natural gas trade, don't look to be jumping in right now. This is not the right price to be jumping in. Right. So you need to wait for two things to happen. Either you wait for a really bullish breakup, or be patient about it, wait for a retracement to happen, then jump in. Yeah. Don't be trigger happy and jump into right now. Yeah, this is one of the worst places that you can jump in. All right, so that's all for me, really. That's all for me. All I have is this. I don't have many charts to share this week. The weekly chart don't give me much opportunities for this week. Yeah. So any other things that you want me to have a look at? If not, two things will happen. First, I start playing music, but not me playing the music. I'll just search on YouTube and play music and wait for Alexis to come in at about 3:45. Or we can end the show now. Or you can just watch me drink bubble tea. So if anybody want to volunteer anything, go ahead. I will happily receive you. Oh, I want to ask you something. Is anybody here actually building your own expert advisor, your own trading board EA? More specifically, actually, I wanted to ask is that has any of you tried such products, EA, builder tools? And normally, I actually pay developer to do it. So, yeah, just for such EA builder websites, it's more of a visual, instead of just writing in numbers and coding lines, this is more of a visual, graphical visual to assist in building. Yeah, I just want to ask you, has any of you actually tried it and give me some tips? I mean, it looks enticing enough for me. I mean, it's only $4.17 a month or $8.99 a month. Yeah, so this is actually the main one that I need. Uploading a custom indicator because I use a lot of them. Yeah, I'm possibly going to try a free one. Yeah, and see how is it. Nobody has used it? No? Okay. Yeah, but if any of you are interested in doing it, you can actually take note of this website, EA Builder Pro. This is not the only one. Yeah, but this is one of those whereby I see it's clean enough that I'll actually exploit. Yeah, it is good, then yeah, why not use it? Yeah, because I have absolutely no brain for learning coding. Yeah, but if there's a visual aid, then yeah, why not use it? Why not experiment with it? I got lots of ideas in my head, but I can't. It's not efficient enough. It's not efficient for me to actually keep on paying developers to develop those ideas. I mean, it does really cost me a ton of money. All right. If you have no questions, I'm gonna be silent for the next 10 minutes until something happens. And let me see if I can play music. If I can't, then let me message Alexis to see if she's coming in. Just confirm. Sunpa, why do I trade indices? What am I saying go to Lexi? Is that two questions or is that the same question? Oh, you're asking why both of us don't trade indices. Uh, Primarily because I already have exposure to index already. Yeah, not via the forex platform. I do trade stocks. I do invest in stocks. Yeah, so I'm already exposed to the indexes already. I assume you're asking about S&P and FTSE, not the yen index, not the euro or USD index, right? Yeah. So if you're asking about indices on the stock side, because I'm already exposed to them, that's why I don't trade it in the MT4 on the MT4 side. Yeah. because I'm actually juggling. So in the overall view of things, I have my stocks portfolio, I have my bonds portfolio, then I have my forex. Then it's only recent I wanted to explore crypto. Yeah. So in a way, I'm actually very heavily exposed to the market. So I'm trying to balance all four. Yeah. So if whatever I have on the stocks, then I try not to touch it on the MT4 side. Yeah. I can, just I prefer not to. Yeah. Otherwise, I run the risk of overexposure. Yeah, because on top of that, I still use. I have to be careful. I don't endorse the product, but I do use. Yeah, you're from Singapore, so you do know the robo advisors like Sai or Saiti. I don't know how they pronounce it. Stash away and all that stuff, which are going via a DCA method. Yeah, so if you know those robo advisors, they mainly trade DCA into index. Yeah, so that also belongs to my stock portfolio. So that's the primary reason why I don't touch it on MT4. Yeah. On saying that, it's funny that you actually asked me now. I was chatting to a friend yesterday. I sort of she sort of piqued my interest in developing a day trading system. I'm tempted to do that for her. So now, if I'm going to develop a day trading system, then I will lean heavily on day trading system to actually trade on the indices. Yeah, simply because do I have it now? So let's go for the US 500. Test 2. Yeah, I'll be tempted to develop a day trading system for her to trade because she's interested in day trading. Then you can see that then trading the indices will make sense because at certain hours the index does have more movement. So day trading doesn't necessarily mean that she has to be confined to in front of screen all day long. Yeah, just trade those timing with high volatility. Yeah, so for the US index, US 500, naturally you'll be doing the later part of the day, or even FTSE, then you'll be in the middle part of the day. Yeah, so you can see. So I hope that kind of answer. Yeah. So if I do have a awesome day trading system for the index, then sometime down the road I might share, might or might not. It depends on how comfortable I am. If that kind of makes sense. Yeah. The, the thing is that as the as more and more when I do trading, my definition for who I am also changes. Yeah. So from a used to say that I'm a professional loser because to win in trading I have to cope with losses well. So I'm actually a professional loser. Then I changed the definition to I'm more of a systematic trader. Nowadays I actually tend to think that I'm more of a professional backtester. Yeah, so that's actually the evolution of my journey. Sorry guys if you think that if I'm rambling a bit, but this is just for further sharing. So why I say I'm a professional backtester nowadays is because uh, the way I trade is so systematic that I don't usually think twice about it. It's either there or not there. So I spend more time doing backtesting, developing systems, which makes sense for my lifestyle because once I backtest, develop a system, then I will pay developer to hold it so that I can be away from the screen. Yeah. So eventually, my ultimate aim is to have about 4 to 5 systems trading on their own, which I don't need to actually look at it every day, probably once a week. So I'll be having an early retirement. I'm sort of actually having a retirement lifestyle now. It's really, yeah. Now to 3 questions. those feels like breakout for pre-market open. Uh, personally, I do favor a breakout style. Yeah, personally, I do. But do I have indicators? Do I have the right mixture of indicators that favor such a breakout style? That is something that I need to personally test. Yeah. Especially if, let's say for US 30, then I would say yes, a breakout style does actually work pretty well. Yeah. If it fulfills certain requirements. Yeah. I have not successfully, the thing is that I have one system that I trade a breakout. Yeah. And I also sort of realized is that if I'm going to teach people to trade breakout, I need to pull up the win rate. Yeah, because most of my winnings, my win rate is hovering at about 40 to 35%, which for new traders is quite tough to trade. Yeah, so I need to sort of modify a bit to push the win rate up to above 50%, just to boost up the comfort zone. Actually, you're a banker, right? Or you work in the bank, am I right? Or was it something else? For those of you who actually trade stocks, uh, especially if you want to trade in depth, I dare say something that 30 minutes before the market open, which is the pre-market, more than half the time, the pre-market trading actually sets the tone for the day. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know whether you agree with me or not. Okay, this is actually my observation. And I actually floated an idea to one of ADW other traders, and they actually backtested. So yeah, my hypothesis, they actually sort of confirmed my hypothesis was right. 30 minutes before an index market opens, if there's a if you can interpret the market in whether there's a decisive buying or selling, that actually sets the tone for the market for the rest of the day, more than 50% of the time. Yeah, probably about, I would say 65% of the time. That is something that can be traded. Yeah. Of course, not every day you have such setup, but I would gestulate that in a week you probably have 2 of such setup. Jump into those. It can actually have pretty decent 2 to 3, no, probably about 4% gain a week. Yeah, including the losses. That is if any of you who is interested in trading a pre-market and let the trade run. Yeah, it can be done. Yeah, that's something which I've observed and not being back tested by me, but by another person. Yours is a bit long. You're saying 1 hour before market opens. To me, it's like 30 minutes before the market opens should be enough to determine the direction. Yeah. Because retails are not actually, this one I need correction. Okay, I need correction if you think it's wrong. Retails don't actually touch the pre-market. Yeah, retail traders, that means people who actually trade a couple of thousands to $100, $200, 300, or a couple of thousands. They don't usually touch the pre-market. Yeah, so that means that left the question to be asked, who is actually touching the pre-market? So it will be the bigger players. Yeah, so if the bigger players have already, to me, that's a hypothesis. Okay, so to me, if the bigger players are already jumping into the market before the retail, then I would consider them to be the smart money. Yeah, so if they have already determined the market direction for that particular day in the first 60 minutes to 30 minutes, then it makes sense to actually follow them. Yeah, so that's my thinking. Of course, the exact trigger, then every for anybody who's interested, then you have to actually determine what's the exact trigger. Maybe once situation dies down, I'll ask Paul about it. Who's actually a full-time trader within the ADW group? Let's all meet up and have a chit-chat session. Or I can invite you all over to my place, or you all can invite me over to a place for barbecue. Yeah, let's put some ideas. In my experience, some of the best ideas for trading is not during teaching, it's when people are having smoke break, barbecue, bubble tea. Yeah, sometimes a random idea can spark really good trading opportunities down the road. Yeah, and such random ideas can only be given by experienced trader. Yeah, something that either of us may be interested, but it doesn't suit our trading profile at the moment. It can be developed by someone else. Yeah, why not? I thought I saw Alexis. Yeah, pretty sure I saw Alexis, but then she was out again. Where did she go? Oh, there she is.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Alexis.
Hi, how's trading today?
Personally, I've already jumped to one trade, which is Pound Kiwi. Then the rest is still waiting. Yeah.
Is Pound Kiwi a short? Please tell me it's a short.
I did long it this morning.
Long. Okay, never mind then. I'll wait for it to come back down.
Yeah, it may develop back to a short, which in this case I'll be wrong, because this is actually bouncing off perfectly well before the previous low. Yeah. So if I'm wrong, then it's your opportunity.
All right. Okay, so I'll just pick over and share screen then, and let's talk about what's been happening on the charts. So last week, I think we all jumped out of trades, took a Friday holiday because there was Jackson Hole coming up, and well, after the Jackson Hole news, I guess there's a lot of tapering going on, right? So I mean, like talk of tapering, but I think in trading, there's something that I will always keep in mind or remind people to keep in mind is talk is just talk. If tapering has not started yet, then it doesn't really matter. If interest rates have not dropped yet, it doesn't mean a thing. Everything that happens till then is speculation and people trying to predict whether it will or will not happen. So the market movements during these speculative moves are just knee-jerk reactions. So you will have the big candles up, and then the next day you get the pullback back down, or you have the big candles down, and then the next day pull back up, right? So it's a very, I guess on the shorter time frames, we probably could take some advantage of these big movements, but in terms of getting a consistent rhythm out of it, it is always probably easier to just work with a larger time frame in terms of a longer biasness. So with that, I'm just going to pop in and see what's on the Waverider scanner. I don't think there's anything much today because of the weird moves last week. So this week, I guess Monday, Tuesday will probably give us a chance to see whether the market will start to continue trending, or will it start to reverse, or will it stay in the range, right? So Monday is probably a key day to kind of figure out where markets are going. So I'm using an old Waverider scanner, and we have a euro yen long. Now I always like to look at euro yen on a fresh chart. So what I would like to do is just go on a daily time frame first and see where is it bigger picture. All right, and bigger picture, I guess we are in a, I mean, if we just keep it simple, and I'm just going to use a blank chart for it. Okay, this is a monthly time frame. If we keep it simple, euro yen on the monthly time frame, it's in the middle of nowhere. If I just put price wherever it is, and I put a line across, let's say this area, okay, and I'm just picking this area because it was tested previously at this point, some kind of consolidation, some kind of test here. So it's just roughly trying to see what price is doing right now. Is there a horizontal level? Maybe here looks like there might be some support turned into resistance. All right, let's put another line right at the bottom here. Price seems to be rejecting off this area. We have a rejection. We have a low test looking monthly bar. And again, we have only 1 month to the end of August before we get a new candle. We have price rejection of here, and we have a couple of touches below. So it just eyeballing it, we do seem to have a nice support level on the larger time frames with a potential for this low test looking bar to signal that there are still buyers underneath this area. Now we're moving on the weekly time frame. We have the engulfing bar very nicely, like looks like really neatly bouncing above here. So the question will be, will this weekly candle be a continuation candle? All right, let's go to the daily time frame. Again, we have the move up and we have this exhaustion, this little pause there while people are figuring out, do they come short or long? I stick another line over there. You can see this is some kind of resistance, but there's a potential for the resistance to turn into support. Now, this is on the daily time frame. So overall, I'm still pretty convinced in terms of just moving from monthly to weekly to daily that there is more upside potential. All right, on the H4, no comment on this. It's not my best time frame to trade, but let's see if putting in the strategy templates give us any clarity. All right, so we have the monthly, we have my two resistance and support lines on top and below over here. We have just nice the euro yen bouncing off a 50 EMA, a very commonly traded EMA on the weekly time frame. We have the daily time frame where EMAs are starting to slope upwards. We have weekly pivots stepping upwards. So I'm definitely keen for a long trade over here. Some resistance on the 200 EMA on the H4. So the question is, will we be able to find momentum to break above, and do we just have to be patient about it? What's interesting over here on the H1 time frame, okay, this is the H1, is that price is looking a little bit sticky, right? I'm not a fan of sticky prices, but I'm also very aware that with sticky prices, it means there's a potential breakout, right? There's a potential breakout because the price is coiling like a spring and is telling us, do I have the momentum to shoot above this area? So what I'm waiting for is if 4 o'clock I get I'll probably jump into the 4 p.m. candle. And what kind of price action I'm looking for is for price to break above this area, come back, retest, and go above. All right, but because I'm trading on a H1, I'm going to put my entry over here. I'm going to watch it and see whether my stop loss gets touched over here. So I might take 2 entries on it, especially if the first one I get stopped out, because this is option 1. I'm looking for this moves, which means I want to be entered here. If price comes in again, if price comes over here, I'm just going to wait it out, right? And if price stops me out, I'll wait for a second opportunity. So this is option 1. Option 2, if price doesn't break above this line, it comes back down and it goes back up, this is my option 2 trade. So the reason why I would say I want to take a trade off here, all right, is because what is the probability that price might just break up and never come back and touch it again? I'm not too sure. But again, today is Monday. So with Monday, I think some of the volatility that might jump in nearing to the US market is when markets open and buyers start to fill their orders, right? Buyers start to watch the market and fill their orders. So there is a potential for a pop happening in the US market. So that's the reason Euro Yen, if this candle stays nice and bullish, right, I will potentially put a trade at the top here. But just based on price action, if the candle is doing what it does now and giving me a indecision candle, right? An indecision candle, a doji looking long tail on top, long tail below, and it gives us the indecision, then I'm going to wait out and see whether I can catch the price over here. So basically, Euro Yen, this is my plan on the H1, and we'll see what candle I get at the end of 4 p.m., whether or not I can enter here, or shall I wait for US timing and see whether we can catch it at a cheaper price over here. But medium-term buyers, I am more biased towards the upside. This is my TP area for TP1. All right, and if I go to the daily time frame, okay, daily time frame, what I do like about the daily time frame is price has come up. We kind of have our first higher low already, and if price can continue upwards, then this WR1 and monthly pivot or the previous high over here, this is my second target I'm going to. So basically for Euro Yen, I would say I'm going to be watching it for the rest of the week, and basically I have a game plan, right? And the game plan is set. I'm just going to see whether or not I get what I want from the game plan. If I get what I want, I'm just going to press the button. If I don't, then I'm just going to move on to the next trade. Okay, I just got a couple more I want to look at. I think this week I still would like to look at the Kiwi pairs. So let me just go through some of the Kiwi pairs and see where they are, whether they are where I like it to be. So I got Aussie Kiwi, I've got, let's see, Euro Kiwi. Euro Kiwi, I might come back at it tomorrow. Let me go down to what Lloyd was taking. The pound Kiwi. Okay, pound Kiwi looks like Rod will be right for today, and I would prefer to catch the pound Kiwi probably after Lloyd takes his TP, which I assume he will take some sort of TP at the weekly pivot, or maybe over here. So let's see if price can get back up there before it comes back down. But overall, what I do like about the pound Kiwi is this: we have been watching it from last week. I have been watching it from last week, right? So on the daily time frame, let me find my pound Kiwi chart. I think I have one here. Okay, so on the daily time frame for the pound Kiwi, okay, what I am looking for is whether or not price can break below this channel over here. This is the daily chart. So what price has done is price has broken out of this channel. Is it a false break? I don't know. But what I'm looking for is if price can come back, retest and hit back down. I want to try to see if the Kiwi strength can continue giving us at least WS1 if we are if I would say we're lucky, maybe MS2. All right, but there is room over here where I would like to take the pound Kiwi in the medium to the long run. If we look at the daily time frame, monthly time frame, I would say that there's not much clarity, but pound Kiwi seems to be in the middle. So I do have a 50-50 up and down area that the pound Kiwi can move in. On the weekly time frame, I guess what I do like about this particular chart is it looks like I'm nearer to the top half. I'm slightly, I wouldn't say nearer actually. It depends on where I draw my horizontal level. I guess if I draw my horizontal level here, this could be the top half. If I draw my horizontal level here, I'm somewhere in the middle. So again, it still shows that there might be a possibility or a probability I have room at the bottom, and again, I'm following a Kiwi bullish biasness as a fundamentalist. So I will be more comfortable to short this pair than to long this pair. And that is the reason why I will patiently wait for a setup to take me towards the downside with all these horizontal levels as my various targets. Will I enter it today? Let me see. Today on the H1, okay, a little bit hard for me to want to enter short today, all right, is because price, you can see it's just sticking at this area. So what it might be doing now, it's breathing, right? It came back up, it's breathing, and then it might do this, a continuation pattern if you look at it on a bigger time frame. Where I hope to catch it is maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, see whether price can hit this area or retrace a little bit more. And then these are the 2 points on my longer game plan. This is where I want to take it in the end. So today I'll have to give this pair to Lloyd's long. I will hope it goes long as well because I would like to shop for it at a cheaper price. Since I already have a daily trend line over here in this blue line, of course, if price does pose an opportunity over here, I might want to take it as well. So it really depends on the price action candle and whether or not, which is stronger. If the weekly pivot is more magnetic, right, it means the chances of price touching the weekly pivot is pretty high. If this trend line is really strong, it also means that it will bounce off here. So these are two potential opportunities we have to see whether price can reach. All right, and if the trend line is not strong enough, and if this is something like a false break, then we could potentially see a hit of the weekly pivot over here, or maybe even higher. So these are the areas of shopping. I'm just going to wait for my short, patiently wait for my short. So unfortunately, I can't follow Lloyd long on this because I don't have the indicators set up for it. Let me see, do I have a reversal? Now that I say that, the moment I said that, I guess I know why Lloyd went long. There is a reversal indicator that came up for me as well. So what it means is, do I reassess my entire plan because I spotted something new? So I'm just going to have a quick look and see what's up. Wow. I think I'll wait out, all right, because my bias is still short. I do have a reversal indicator that popped up last Friday. There's a possibility of going long here, I would say, but again, because of my fundamental bias, I'm more comfortable short instead of long. So I will ignore this setup and not choose it because I don't think in my head it's the best setup for me. All right, so I'm going to let Lloyd take his. Hopefully Lloyd take his profit first, then I'll start to go down. So we'll see that. Then it'll be a win-win situation for that. because it looks like he certainly is in the right direction as of the latest price action candles. Kiwi Cat, let's go on the H1 as well. Kiwi Cat, it's not going anywhere unless I get a bullish price action. I'll want it. Kiwi Swiss I'm ignoring for obvious reasons. Kiwi Yen, we are just testing the monthly pivot on top. Again, a little bit iffy over here because price is sticky and we only have 1 day left of monthly pivot. So it's not the most prettiest or the prettiest chart to trade. Kiwi dollar, I think Kiwi dollar looks a little bit better. We have a very strong monthly pivot holding there, but again, there is no clarity. There's no proper bullish candle I can trade off. Instead, it just looks very heavy. It still looks like it's a pullback. So we'll see where it comes. I would prefer to go long on the Kiwi. So the thing is, I guess being really patient and really waiting for the right setup to come. I think I'll visit my Swiss yen one last time and see where it's at. Oh, very nice. So Swiss yen has just pulled back, very nice large pullback. So I guess Swiss yen will probably be on the cards for me again sometime later part of the week and see whether we can catch it once it's completed its pullback and head back towards the upside. All right, it's got a huge pullback. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of 5 hours. Entire morning is pulling back. On the daily time frame, it looks like a kind of like an inside bar forming. All right, but you can see the whole consolidation happening over here. So 2 things I like about this is, I have consolidation over here. Maybe it's a flag pattern. Again, I'm not an expert of flag pattern, but what I do see is a potential breakout. So I will wait. I'll be a bit patient for this and see whether it's a breakout to the top or breakout to the bottom. But it does look like it might be heading somewhere-ish soon. So if I just talk about price patterns, you can see something similar over here. All right, and this one broke up to the upside. Okay, I would say this one, I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, but you can see that it had that big pull, 2-3 days of consolidation and broke out to the downside, right? So I guess there is kind of some merit to being a little bit patient at the moment, because this chart tends to move in bricks and retracement. So if I just draw little lines and flag poles across, you can see that price moved clearly up, then consolidated, and then broke up, and then tiny consolidation, kind of broke up. I guess maybe this is some kind of consolidation. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm just seeing the grouping of candles that are moving. All right, and it just seems to me that there is a probability of, after it's done its consolidation, it will go somewhere. So I'm waiting for that somewhere. My bias is to the long side, but I will be very ready to take it short, just to trade the chart as it is. All right. My bias is still, again, I think on an hourly chart, my bias is still towards the upside, but it's just a matter of finding that entry in. If I have to trade short, I don't know. I can't quite tell where is it now, but I kind of, it looks like it's going somewhere, but I guess we'll have to leave it to the end of the week, or maybe Lloyd can spot something unique in this particular chart. But for now, it's just sideways, but I'm hoping to catch the breakout because it does look like it's breaking out somewhere. I guess now it's a matter of finding out where. All right, so I prefer to go long. Not so comfortable with the short, so I guess I'll have to find out if I have a rule that can take me long tomorrow. Maybe if it bounces, since I have a weekly pivot over here, there's a weekly pivot over here. So if I have a bullish move tomorrow or maybe later tonight, that tells me that this weekly pivot is holding, I will consider putting a small risk, just to try it out. Small risk to the long side. Of course, with targets, with moving stop loss to entry targets over here, because Swiss yen can be quite choppy. So I don't think Swiss yen will trend very far within the few days. It's a very choppy chart. It's a very range bound chart. It goes and then ranges, it goes and then ranges. So I don't think this kind of Swiss yen pair has legs, but I do still want to take some of the pips off this chart. I think my last pair I want to look at, I think last week I was looking at the Aussie dollar. Let's revisit it. And Aussie dollar has headed back up long. I prefer to go Aussie short. I don't know how long this long trade will last, but today on the daily time frame, it looks like an inside bar is forming. If price stays within this level, then I'm going to sit out, because it kind of has a potential to be a continuation pattern as well. So, but we do have a horizontal level here. So again, if I don't have clarity, I'm just going to sit and wait, because while I prefer to go short, if only the market listens to me, but I don't think it will. It looks like it might break out long. So I'm going to just trade it technically. So let's see, if I have a technical rule allowing me to trade this, then technically I can trade it like a wave rider setup, which means that if this candle stays green and gives me a bullish engulfing bar compared to the previous candle, I have an opportunity. So I can trade this bullish engulfing pair, and I can take a TP over here. So what I'll do now is just to measure and see whether it's worth taking the risk. All right, it's a 18 pip. It's an 18 pip potential profit. I might not want to risk it for 18 pips. What I'll do is I'll just watch it. But for 18 pips, I am not keen on taking the risk. It is okay for 18 pips, but because I do see the horizontal level over here, I don't know whether my 18 pips is worth that stop loss, potential stop loss. So being nearing the end of the month, I'm just going to be a little bit more fussy with what I picked. And I think that comes down to trading psychology, because I'm kind of doing pretty neat for the month of August. So I'm very reluctant to give my profits back to the market. It might be different if we started a fresh month and we started from zero, right? But already having about, I think this month I'm up a nice decent amount. I am just wanting to protect my month P&L, so that the next month, when I reset the P&L for myself, then I might have a different perspective on my own risk appetite. All right, but for now, I think I'm playing it very defensively. So it's a bit of defensive trading at the end of the month for me, because I just want to make sure that whatever I've made so far in August stays that number, so that I can clear it for August in that sense. I'm not sure, do you happen to have that kind of mentality as well, Lloyd, where having a certain amount of profits changes your trading towards the end, and does it make you trade a little bit differently?
Depending on how much your profits are.
So
Yeah.
what is the number that will make you change the way you trade, like be a bit more defensive or a bit more aggressive?
But if I'm up by about 20%, then I'll be very defensive.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Anything below, you'll just do it as per normal lah.
Yeah. Because to me, it's my target month on month is always 10%. Yeah. So if it hits 10%, I'll be yeah. But the thing is that because since I'm trading based on most of my trades are based on 3%, right? So usually what happens is that I hit 3%, so 3, 6, 9, 12. So by the time you hit 12, right, which is over my 10% profit, right? So I'll always think that, hey, actually I have 2% more to play about.
I know what you mean.
So if I happen to win on that 2%, the rest is really just bonus to me, whereby I can play.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But the moment it somehow hit the magical 20, then I'm like, oh, I'm double my goal. So let's not be too greedy. I'm greedy already, so let's not be too greedy.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm feeling right now, because I am over my target, so it's a good thing, and I'm thinking, okay, let's not be too greedy. I don't want to give everything back and go back down. So I think for Monday, Tuesday, I might be trading a little bit defensively, but still looking for good opportunities to widen the margin. But just I can feel myself being a little bit more picky, like looking at the trade and thinking, do I really need this trade, or do I really is the probability right for the trade? And the probability is not as much in my favor, and there's a chance down there that that it will reverse. I feel a little bit more risk adverse for this 1-2 days. I think at least until 31st August is over, then I reset. Then we can maybe I'll be a bit more aggressive in the beginning of September again. Yeah, so yeah, I don't think I'll jump into anything, but the Kiwi yen looks decent. It's okay. I think on the note, let me see, is this 20 pips? Okay, I might put a 0.25% at 4 p.m. on a Kiwi yen long for 18 pips worth of profit. All right. So what I'm looking at is, if this price over here stays above monthly pivot, I will enter here and exit here, just to take 0.25% off. Keep in practice. I think this is the only chart that I feel relatively comfortable in taking a trade on. So I think that's all for me today. 4 p.m., which is 1 minute more actually. So we can actually place this trade. Let me just see. Unless Lloyds want to kick us out earlier.
Oh, Actually, I wanted to answer Sui's question, Jasmine. Or rather,
Oh,
no, no.
please go ahead while I'm just gonna take this Kiwi Yen long.
Yeah, this is actually not a question, exactly a question posed by Sui, but just wish to answer actually both Chun Fa and Sui. So what happens is that this is actually something which I noticed. So I'm on the US 30 chart. So as per this is an indicator which I showed I think 2 weeks back. So if you look at the US 30 chart, there at one glance it shows you that the 16-hour, 15, 16, 17, 18, that's where the pips start to pick up. Yeah. So that's where the players starts comes in. The big money starts coming for US 30, which is a US indices, by the way, for those of you who are not sure. Yeah. So my hypothesis for the trade, this is something you can actually develop it. So on a 1 hour chart, so what I see is that from 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, people start to come in, as you can see from the volatility, 14 hours, 500, 600, then boom, 1,005 pips, right? So that means you possibly want to position yourself between the 14 to 1600 hours timing, right? So what I have on my chart plotted 2 lines, the 14 to about 1700 hours. So these are the vertical lines I plotted on the chart. So to me, my hypothesis is that if I could position myself before the trade jumps, then that means I have to find a way to get in. So let's go down to 5-minute chart. So one of the simplest way to trade. Look, so I have the volume indicator on my screen. So between the 1400 hours, 1700 hours, price will jump. But what we don't know is where price will jump, right? So of course we can have the idea that US 30 is a long-term uptrend chart, then always just buy, don't sell. I mean, that's the idea you can stop. But let's look here that between 14 to 1700 hours, there's a huge surge in volume. So then just go with the bar that has a huge surge. So this will actually be a winner. I mean, this huge surge in volume, I suppose anybody can see it, right? That I don't need any special instruments to tell me there's a huge surge. But if you want to objectify it, then just put a level. So where's the highest level of the past, the past 1 hour or 2 hours that you can define. As long as there's a search, I mean, I will go with visually lah. Yeah. Then just jump in and go in for the right. So this will be one example. Then let's look at other example. So you can see over here. So again, there's a search in volume somewhere here. Oops, yeah. So this, if we go in with the search, it will be a stop loss. So that will definitely be a stop loss. Then subsequently, you can see that there's also another search over here, which comes later out of the 1700 boundary. Yeah. Which price eventually also follows through. Yeah. Then let's look at the third example. Volume, a search. So again, because US 30, let's say all you're interested is buy after the search. Let's look at the next buying opportunity where this comes in. Then jump in for the right. So this is actually a very simple hypothesis which can be further developed. So again, you see there's a search on this bar. That's where people are interest starts to come in, jump in for the right. Then this one actually rises very slowly, quite a miserable right, in fact. Then again, you can see here, this one will be a much more comfortable right. The search in volume is this bar, jump in, stop loss, you still get your profits. Yeah. So, the pre-market does sort of determine the direction. The only trouble is actually, from my point of view, is determine the entry. Yeah. So, for those of you who are interested in trading indices, have a look at the volume indicator. All right. It can provide some valuable insights into the market, especially if right now I'm telling you that which are the hours that buyers or sellers are coming in. Yeah, so this is especially, it's less truthful for forex pair but very much true for the indices. Yeah. 30 minutes, 1 hour before the market opens, just wait for the surge in buyers and sellers. Very often, you can jump in for the ride. Yeah. You can even, and like I mentioned, especially for US charts or even crypto charts, whereby you have a long-term bias of buy or sell, then just adopt that particular bias and look for only buying or selling. It can be done. Your efforts will be well rewarded. Yeah. Again, back to the question of just now, so far asked why I don't trade. Again, because my stock portfolio doesn't allow me to. That's my risk. Yeah. But if I choose to ignore those risks, as in overlapping risks, then yes, I can in fact easily make a strategy out of this. Yeah, it's just whether I want to or not. Yeah, but like I mentioned, yesterday met a friend. She's interested in day trading. Might develop something for her. Yeah, that friend Alexis also knows, but has not seen that friend before. Yeah, possibly in the future, Alexis might meet. All right. So with that, Alexis, is that the end?
Yes, that's the end for me.
My Pound TV, my Pound TV seems to be doing okay at the moment. Euro, so for me, Euro USD doesn't look too okay for me to jump in at 5 p.m. Again, I'm waiting for a decisive buying or a low test bar. Euro dollar, I don't think that will break and retest, but since it's hugging the line now, just pay extra attention to it. Silver, same for silver. USD, SGD, this seems to be the most likely pair that I'll be shorting. It's actually, like I mentioned, USD, SGD will only be 0.5% because it's really close to the closing of last week. Yeah. Other than that, I don't have any other things that I will pull your attention to. Yeah. So with that, thank you for joining us today. Tomorrow, about the Jackson Hole Symposium, Alexis, do you read the notes about it? News release about it?
Yeah, I think I covered it in Sunday briefing in the fundamentals at night. But basically, they just said that they're going to do tapering, but they never say when, they never say how much. But they are deciding to start tapering soon. So it's very in the air thing. That's why I don't think you saw a lot of moves because it's just talk. We don't really have a lot of big candles this morning because it's just the intention is to do tapering, and with tapering, I think we will probably expect USD to increase, to rise, because tapering means pumping less money, less liquidity into the market. So if we talk about law of demand and supply, I guess that means that there's going to be less US dollars into supply into the supply of the market supply. But then again, there's already an oversupply of USD because they keep printing and printing, right? So I guess I think it's a lot of indecision right now. But if we just go by textbook economics, a textbook would mean less liquidity pumped into the market, which would mean so-called less supply, which kind of means less increase in value of the USD because of its limited supply in that sense. It's just textbook. But I don't think the textbook is super, like, I think it generally will slowly float up, but I don't think it's a very clear sign because there's nothing clear. Like there's no clear thing like, okay, we are going to pump in only this XX amount next month, XX amount by the end of the year. So there's no clear numbers out yet. And I think we have to wait for that clear number to be out yet before having a firm decision on where it's going to go.
I ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you have faith in Joe Biden?
No.
Yeah. So to me, right, if you don't have faith in Joe Biden, right, that means his words that the buck stops with him. I mean, referring to the war in Afghanistan. That means he won't be keeping his word, or for certain circumstances he cannot keep his word. Then they will actually be throwing more money into Afghan.
Yeah, so that's why I say very big question mark. Yeah, I do agree. Like, he seems to be a very square president, like nothing out of the ordinary, no out of the box thinking, very, very traditional, very by the book. I don't know, it's just maybe it's too safe lah. And I feel in this climate we can't, it's really difficult to have a president that's too safe, because then they won't look for alternative solutions. I mean, that's just in the back of my head when I look at his speeches and his really boring, he's basically following it feels like he's following a script. So I don't quite have a feel for him. I mean, it's just, there's no clarity. I would say no clarity lah. That's why I've avoided the USD in terms of biasness for a while, because I can't seem to find any clarity at the moment in the US market in
Okay.
terms of the foreign in terms of currency at least.
All right. So with that, we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, Alexis, for that. And let's see, we have more things up. Actually, usually when Shruti joins, it's more exciting.
Tuesday usually more exciting.
Okay, so thank you all. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.
All right, bye.